She aimed the gun right at my daughter's chest and screamed, "You either sign the papers or you leave this neighborhood tonight." My heart froze for a second, but my daughter didn't even flinch. She just raised her eyes slowly, calm like she'd seen this kind of threat before. The neighbors gasped from their porches. Some ducked back inside, and others whispered, "She's lost her mind." Karen's finger trembled on the trigger, but her voice stayed sharp. "This is HOA property now, and if you don't pay your dues, you're trespassing." She waved a stack of fake documents in her other hand, like they gave her some kind of crown. I wanted to step in, to shield my daughter, but she gave me the smallest shake of her head, almost like she was saying, "Let me handle this." "You sure you want to do this in front of all these people?" my daughter said softly, but every word cut the silence. Her calm tone only made Karen angrier. She barked, "Don't talk back to me. This whole block answers to me now. One signature and you're safe. Refuse and you'll regret it." The street went dead quiet. Only the buzzing of the street lamp and the soft click of Karen cocking the gun echoed in the night. Neighbors pulled out their phones, recording, waiting for a disaster. They thought my daughter was cornered, but they had no idea. She wasn't the one in danger here.
Karen's hand shook as she kept the barrel pointed, but my daughter only took a slow step forward. The crowd sucked in a breath, like they were watching a scene that could explode any second. "Put the gun down," my daughter said, her voice calm but firm. The kind of tone that doesn't ask, it commands. Karen laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "You think you can boss me around? I am the authority here. Nobody moves into this neighborhood without my approval. Not you, not your family, nobody!" My daughter tilted her head, almost amused. "Funny, because I don't remember you being sworn in by the county." Her words landed heavy, and Karen blinked, confused for just a second, before tightening her grip again. The neighbors began whispering louder. Someone muttered, "She can't just point a gun like that." Another added, "Isn't that illegal?" Phones stayed up, capturing every second. Karen tried to bark over them, her voice cracking. "This is my HOA, my rules. You don't join, you don't live here. That's final." But my daughter didn't back down. She slowly pulled something from her jacket pocket, holding it low so only Karen could see it first. Then, with one flick of her wrist, the silver badge gleamed under the streetlight. Gasps rippled through the crowd as the words spread like fire. She's the sheriff." Karen's face went pale, her finger frozen on the trigger. For the first time, she realized the gun wasn't power. It was evidence, and she had just aimed it at the wrong person.
Karen staggered back half a step, her hand still trembling on the gun. No, this is some kind of trick," she stammered, her eyes darting between the badge and the neighbors' phones, recording everything. My daughter's voice dropped, steady as stone, pointing a loaded weapon at an officer of the law in front of witnesses, on camera. "Do you realize what you've just done?" Karen's lips quivered, but her pride wouldn't let go. She lifted her chin and snapped, "You're lying! That badge is fake, just like your so-called ownership papers. This land belongs to the HOA, and I make the rules here." The neighbors erupted, half in disbelief, half in outrage. One man shouted, "Karen, that's the sheriff! Are you insane?" Another woman whispered, "She's going to jail for this." Phones zoomed in, capturing every angle. My daughter took another step closer, her hand resting calmly on her holster. "Go ahead, Karen. Pull that trigger if you want to spend the rest of your life behind bars. Or worse." The street went still. Even the cicadas seemed to quiet down. Karen's face flushed with rage, but her eyes flicked nervously toward the recording phones. She could see her empire of fake authority cracking right in front of her. And then, red and blue lights appeared at the far end of the street. Real squad cars, sirens low, engines rumbling closer. The neighbor stepped back, murmuring louder now. Karen whipped her head around, panic flashing across her face. This isn't what it looks like," she shrieked, waving her free hand desperately. But the crowd was already against her. And my daughter? She just smiled faintly and whispered, "Oh, it's exactly what it looks like."
The squad cars rolled up, tires crunching against the pavement, their lights painting the houses red and blue. Doors flew open, and uniformed deputies stepped out, hands resting on their weapons as they scanned the scene. Every phone in the crowd tilted up to catch the moment. This was no longer just neighborhood drama. It was about to be a full-blown arrest. Karen's voice cracked as she waved her arms wildly, gun still dangling in her grip. "Officers, over here! Arrest them! They're trespassing and refusing to join the HOA! They don't belong here!" She shouted like she was summoning an army, convinced she still held authority. But the deputies didn't move toward me or my daughter. Their eyes went straight to the gun in Karen's hand. One officer barked, "Ma'am, drop the weapon now." The crowd gasped. Some neighbors covered their mouths. Others whispered, "It's over for her." Karen spun around, desperate. "No, no, you don't understand. I'm the victim here. They're dangerous. She's impersonating law enforcement." She jabbed her finger toward my daughter, her voice shrill with panic. And that's when my daughter stepped forward, calm as ever, holding her badge high so every flashing light caught the shine. Sheriff Alicia Carter, badge number 6149. You're the one impersonating authority here, Karen. The street exploded with murmurs. Deputies froze for half a second before their stance shifted. They weren't questioning her now, they were backing her up. Karen's mouth fell open, her face draining of color. She tried to speak, but only a choked sound came out. My daughter's next words cut sharper than the sirens behind her. "You just aimed a gun at the sheriff of this county, in front of half the neighborhood, and every second of it is on camera." Karen's fingers twitched around the weapon, caught between pride and fear, but everyone could see her power was crumbling.
Karen's grip finally faltered. The gun wavered, then dipped just slightly, but she still clung to it like her last piece of control. Her voice broke into a desperate screech. "You don't understand. This neighborhood was falling apart until I took charge. Without me, it's chaos. I'm the only one keeping order." One of the deputies stepped forward, hand outstretched. "Ma'am, hand me the weapon." His tone was calm but laced with warning. The crowd leaned in, phones held high, their whispers cutting like knives. "She's lost it. She really thinks she runs the law. She's done." Karen shook her head violently, backing away toward the curb. "No, you can't do this to me. I am the HOA. I'm the law here." And that was the moment my daughter moved. Smooth, precise, like she'd done it 100 times. In a single motion, she grabbed Karen's wrist, twisted it down, and the gun clattered to the pavement. Gasps erupted as Karen screamed in shock, stumbling back into the arms of two deputies who instantly restrained her. The neighbors' recording turned into cheers, some shouting, "Finally!" and "About time!" For the first time, the balance of power had flipped. Karen wasn't the authority anymore. She was the spectacle. Pinned against the patrol car, red lights flashing across her face, Karen tried one last desperate shout. "This is illegal! I'll sue you all! You can't just—" But my daughter cut her off with a single line, cold and unshakable. "You're under arrest for assault with a deadly weapon, impersonating authority, and threatening law enforcement. And trust me, this is one case the HOA won't be able to cover up." The crowd erupted louder, phones catching every second, while Karen's scream drowned under the click of handcuffs locking shut.